We all have our lazy moments, but some people really stand out for their inventive approaches to making life a bit easier. From hilarious life hacks to extreme chore dodging, here's how some folks take laziness to a whole new level. This woman has mastered the art of minimizing her prep time. Why bother painting every toenail when her shoes only show the first two? However, unless she plans to wear those shoes all week, this strategy might not be entirely practical. The holiday season can be packed with stress, from gift shopping to decorating, but this person has simplified things with a clever Christmas tree solution. Who knew that pine-scented car air fresheners could double as a festive, albeit minimalist, display? Long lines are universally dreaded, but what if you didn't have to stand in them all? This woman thought she'd found a solution by bringing her own chair to the Burger King queue. Though one has to wonder if constantly moving the chair might negate the effort. When it comes to lazy people and their creative solutions, there's often a fine line between stupid and genius. Just take this guy, for example. This father seems to have found the perfect balance between supervising his daughter on the swing and kicking back with a beer, and all it took was a piece of rope. Now that's some next-level parenting. Daylight savings can be a pain, especially since multiple clocks need changing. Whoever was asked to adjust this high school clock clearly thought it was easier to stick a sign up asking pupils to figure it out for themselves. What you don't know is that this sign has been up for 4 years now, and it's getting hard to keep track of. Using a smartphone or tablet to watch TV in bed can be tricky when it comes to constantly supporting your handheld device, but this guy thinks he's cracked it with this iPad home cinema. Duct tape is truly versatile, but what happens when you fall asleep and forget the iPad is hanging in front of your face when you wake up? This image proves just how many of us are prone to laziness when given the option to take an easier route in life. The stairs are literally right there, but the mindless ease of the escalator is still enough to make people queue in huge crowds. Which would you take? Even the most straightforward tasks, like picking up a cup and taking a sip, can be made easier by the laziest among us. The guy in this photo may have created the ultimate straw, but his friend's facepalm tells you everything you need to know. Meanwhile, this girl is even slurping away while taking a nap. Unless you're a certified Stepford wife, no one really enjoys doing the dishes, so any method of reducing mess during mealtimes is welcome. But is this cereal solution really necessary? Sure, you're eliminating the bowl, but some of these in-the-packet cereal meals look like a mess waiting to happen. This woman is definitely one cool mom, and although I can't be sure how she's managing to segue one-handed while pushing a buggy, I fully applaud her for it. The logic may be questionable, but she deserves recognition for making it work anyway. This photograph is enough to tell me that some effort was made here. I'm just not sure why. The fact this man is even able to achieve such a feat is commendable, because that chair doesn't look sturdy enough to survive even the smallest wave. There's definitely no denying the laziness of this man, who couldn't even be bothered to leave his car for 2 minutes to fill up. Unless this gas station is installed with automatic payment pumps, then the likelihood is he's going to have to get out eventually anyway. Sleeping on the job is no easy feat, especially when you're a security guard, but that didn't stop this man from coming up with an inventive way to get an extra 40 winks. The cardboard officer might be bigger and scarier, but he hasn't blinked in hours, so you're not really fooling anyone, dude. Here's an example of laziness that almost crosses into genius territory. Instead of spending hours walking in circles, why not just tie your lawnmower to a pole and let it wind itself up? That is, until it breaks free and starts a wild mowing spree down the street. Not all lazy solutions are clever, though. Consider this person's approach to dealing with extreme weather conditions, choosing between shoveling snow or risking a potentially dangerous accident. Tough choice, right? Turning off the light from bed can be a real hassle, but one ingenious individual has a unique solution. By using a laser pen that cats can't resist, and with their impressive leaps, they've created an automatic light switch. Just a bit of careful aiming required. Festivals and concerts can be exhausting, especially when standing in the sun all day. But check out this man who figured out how to enjoy the show while lying down. With a camcorder connected to a live feed, He watches the performance on his smartphone until his arm gets tired, of course. In 2017, professional tennis player Rafael Nadal made headlines for his lazy act during the Wimbledon Championships. He actually called a ball boy over to throw his trash into a bin that was right next to him. Whether this is next-level laziness or pure genius is up for debate. Nobody wants to stand in line if there's a bench nearby, so this system of shoe queuing seems a smart solution. These people in Thailand are living in the future. Unless you're a naturally organized person, most of us have allowed dirty washing to pile up over time, and this particularly lazy person decided to turn their clothes mountain into a permanent installation during the Christmas period. This is definitely one way to get the grocery shopping done without having to walk around the store, but you'd have to have some hoverboard skills to avoid the potential disaster of crashing into an experience of wine display. There's laziness, and then there's just doing your job, which is exactly what this poor woman ended up without when she appeared on TV with no job title or even a name, all thanks to one lazy person who couldn't be bothered to input the details correctly. Sometimes we just don't feel like doing anything, but that isn't always possible with commitments like work and school. That didn't stop this man from crafting a decent enough excuse to get him a day off when he photoshopped his own car to look like it had a flat tire. Anyone who goes to such lengths deserves a break. Pizza might be one of the easiest things to cook, but that doesn't mean it's completely effort-free. For those determined to cut corners, this guy decided to FaceTime his oven to monitor his pizza in real time instead of checking it manually. Here's another clever trick for avoiding dishwashing duties. Simply wrap your plate in plastic wrap and toss it after eating. Just be cautious with foods that require a lot of cutting. Otherwise, you might end up with a mouthful of plastic. This photo redefines the concept of relaxing by the pool. This guy doesn't even need to move to grab a refreshing drink, and it's also a sneaky way to enjoy a few beverages before they're socially acceptable. Sometimes, lazy solutions end up being more complicated than the traditional methods. Take this example. Instead of walking outside to retrieve a dropped shirt, a risky rescue operation involving a vacuum was employed. I'm curious to see how that turned out. Watermelon is a tasty snack, but who really has time to dispose of each seed when there are TV shows that need binging? Come on. Luckily, this woman thought of a solution which is both lazy and kind of genius at the same time. No need to fuss, just spit those pips directly into the bag. Sending a physical letter in the post has become so old school that when it comes down to it, the whole thing seems like far too much effort. This person was too lazy to purchase a single stamp for their letter, so they've just taped the cost on in its place, plus a tip. If you're so prone to laziness that even preparing toast seems like too much effort in the kitchen, then worry no more. The answer is here. I'm not sure how appealing this pre-packaged toast sounds, and there's even a buttered version for extra convenience. At this point, they may as well just eat it for me too. There comes a point in every household where almost all the dishes need a good clean, but instead of just washing out a cup, this girl took matters into her own hands with her refreshing bag of iced water. Every dog needs exercise at some point in the day, and sometimes their pining for a walk doesn't match up with your own desire to go outside. This image definitely proves that lazy people are smarter than we give them credit for. Why not let the dog walk you instead? I like to imagine this guy was reclining in front of the TV when his mom asked him to go pick up some milk, so he just got up and took the whole chair with him. Realistically, I have no idea how this contraption would work, but a statement was definitely made anyway. They say a watched pot never boils, but is that still the case if you're watching it through Skype? This person obviously had more important things to do than wait 5 minutes for some eggs to boil. This is a classic case of a solution being created for a problem which never really existed. Instead of just moving the clock over slightly after this pole was erected in front of it, the hidden numbers have just been painted on top. So many questions. True gaming addicts never stop, and even the fundamental need to wash couldn't separate this gamer from his PlayStation. I wonder if Apple ever envisioned that FaceTime would be used for such purposes. Whoever is responsible for this should probably seek some advice on chronic laziness. Would it be really so exhausting just to peel off one tiny sticker before biting into the apple? Even standing up to brush your teeth becomes a chore when you fall into a dangerous pattern of total laziness. Once you take things to the extreme like this man and his designated toothbrushing chair, I'm afraid to say there's no going back. You'll have to look twice at this photo to realize that there's a lazy person behind it and not a clean freak. This smart roommate devised the perfect plan to avoid washing up for the rest of their life by just printing out an image of a clean sink and sticking it on top of the dirty dishes. I'm not sure it worked though. If you're friends with a self-confessed lazy person, then you'll be accustomed to their minimal effort, so it's best to keep expectations at a minimum, even on your birthday. Take this birthday cake for example. I guess DIY is all the rage. Some people really go all out at Christmas with extravagant light displays like this, but instead of attempting to compete, the neighbor next door had the right idea by putting this cheeky sign up instead. Touche the dude. I wonder how long it took students to realize that this lazy professor wasn't really sitting at his desk working every time they walked past. It takes a real stroke of genius to create an illusion this convincing, so he deserves his nap time. It's not just us humans who are lazy sometimes, but did no one tell this bird that it literally has its own wings? What do you do when your small dog can slip through the gaps in your front gate and make a run for it? The obvious solution would be to get a new gate, right? Well, this inventive owner took a different approach, opting to save time and money by wedging a spoon into the pup's harness instead. But now their clever plan is coming undone. Which of these next-level lazy solutions impressed you the most? Did any of them inspire you? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching.